Hey guys, what's going on? Damian Forrester here, and I am with, I want to call a legend. All right. So I'll grab my phone right now, and I'm looking at a text right now. And this text was Jason. Last time we communicated, Jason, it was 2019. Okay. And I don't know what I was doing with my life, but I was like, I want to be like this guy. I think I can't find it right now. I remember the text he did like 110 closing, like $33 million in sales, and I think he
Yep.
did like 80 something of those were his sales. I was like, holy crap, this guy is king. We're gonna talk about. All right, I'm really excited to meet with you today. Thank you. I'm with Jason Baker here. He's in Missoula. Top agent, inspiring, by the way, very inspiring. He hosts shows. You got a great social media. I'm going to stop talking about you. I don't think you can talk about yourself. But I had a bunch of questions here that we're just going to put that aside. We're going to throw that away, and we're just going to talk because
Let's
this
talk
is
about
about
life. Let's
not
talk
about
about
us. It's
life.
about the agents out there, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. First thing first, let's hear about you. Let's hear your origin story. Who are you?
Well, depending on like if you just want to talk about real estate, well, first of all, thank you for all that. I'm just a wannabe farmer over here in Florence, Montana, I don't know, man. My origin story was I've had a pretty hard life, and a lot of it is definitely self-inflicted, right? So,
Okay.
it's like all the accolades and all the things that you do in life, really at the end of the day, it's just like what have you done for other people, right? So all the accolades and all the closings and all the stuff, you have to understand that for me, all glory to God, right? That's the number
Absolutely.
one
There
thing.
you go.
I mean,
Love it.
just amen, right? And I can't do, I can't, I've tried to do like, how do I put this? Like all of that success I had, it seems like the older you get, the less the ego. You're like, yeah,
Oh yeah,
you did all that stuff, and then at the end of the day, you're like, all right, but how many lives did I impact? Right? That's
right
the
there,
number one
right
thing. So
there.
I hope there's one nugget somewhere in here. So okay, real estate wise, I started in mortgages back in, oh my gosh, when I had no gray hair. That was like, back in, let's see, 90, 99, 2000. I got into mortgages, did that for about a decade. Had lots of nonprofit businesses, not
Okay.
501c3 nonprofit businesses.
Right.
They just didn't make any money. And I started doing a lot of short sales and created a short sale software and was processing short sales. That's how I got my introduction to real estate with the mortgage
Okay.
background. That was kind of the natural flow. And I got into all of that during the foreclosure crisis that we all went through in real estate back in, really 2008 to 2012, 13. And that's what I did. I started selling real estate though for the first time in Montana in 2013. I worked at three different brokerages, Windermere, Keller Williams, Lambros, and it was just, in my first year in real estate, my first day in real estate, I got a real estate coach. Someone recommended that to me. I said, I don't know the first thing about real estate. I like know nothing. Like I know short sales real good, but I don't know the process and I don't know how to acquire clients. And so I started with the Mike Ferry organization, my first day in real estate.
Okay.
And my coach Ira said, look, you can have anything that you want in real estate if you talk to enough people.
Mm,
And
like that.
the number one thing, Jason, that you have to remember, which is still true to this day on our team and everything that I do, the conversations are different and who I talk to is different now, but it is a contact sport. So that's how it all started. 54 closed transactions in my first year. Didn't know the first thing about
Wow.
real estate, quite frankly, but I did know this. What I figured out early and often, and I think what real estate agents are missing is they think business just comes to you.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I think because they're probably not explained this from their brokerage, who just have metrics that they have to hit, right? And they have
Right.
recruiting goals that they have to hit, that it just all comes down to split. But my coach told me, it said, it doesn't matter if you work at a 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 100 split, doesn't matter. You have to talk to 30 to 40 people every single day. It has to be go in this order: expired, canceled, for sale by owner, sphere, internet leads, and then just listed, just sold. If you do that every single day of your real estate career, I can guarantee you in your first year, you'll close 50 transactions. And at the end of it, and I didn't believe it while I was in it, Damien.
Right.
Didn't believe it. But what happened was, and I got shot 4 years into my real 4 months into my real estate career. I got life flighted during a hunt. I got
Wait,
shot.
wait, 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 wait. Let's back up. I thought you said I was shocked. You
I
said you
oh
were shot.
Many times. No, I was duck hunting in
Oh,
southwestern Montana.
right.
And my friend, I was 10 yards away from when a bunch of ducks landed, and I got shot and I got knocked out right in my head from the left side over when I was 4 months into real estate. Had
Wow.
a 2-year-old and a 6-month old. Thought I was dead. Life flight came, got me. I woke up in Missoula, back where I came from.
Right.
And I was in and out of the hospital for many months, just multiple surgeries and trying to recover from that. I'll never forget that same real estate coach, 4 months in, told me, I do not care if your other eye falls out because I was shot through my left eye. That was a big injury and a brain injury there. He said, I do not care if your other eye pops out or your leg falls off. You will, and I had to lay on my right side for a month to reset my retina.
Uh-huh.
He said, you will talk to 5 people every single day and report back to me at the end of the day. I don't care. Learn your scripts, make your calls 5 a day, get it done. I set 7 listing appointments on my right side between December 7th and December 31st.
Wow.
I could not go on them because my wife wouldn't let me leave the house for 2.5 weeks. I snuck out. She drove me. And I went and I took 4 of the 7 that I set. And I had bandages all over. I
Right.
mean, it was like a sympathy listing. So, so from an early age, I was just a phone prospecting maniac. And that went to 75 transactions, 95 transactions. And then when we were talking, it was just over 100. But by then I had understood the leverage and the admin and the team building and the showing assistants and the buyer's agents and things like that. And, failed 100 different times, in between then and now. So, yeah.
Wow, what a story. That is crazy. I can't. Out of my org, I don't even think I can have an origin story like that. That's great. Congratulations. And look at you now. So
Yeah.
you have this team now, correct? I
Yeah.
mean, so you started single
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the turning point for you? When do you feel that you needed that to become? And did you want a team?
No, it was kind of weird. It was like when you take, so obviously when you're getting coached, they're saying have listings create all leads
Right.
and everything good. Like everything revolves around a listing. That's not to say buyers are not unimportant at all.
Through that.
It could be half of your business. And for some people it's 100% or 75%. It's whatever works for you and your comfort level. What I like is structure and I like a finite schedule. And I found that by working with sellers, I didn't have that crazy call, let's go look at properties, all over the place. So I very quickly, had taken a pile of listings. And then, of course, from that, I was doing just lists. I just sold calls around the listing. And here came all of these buyer leads. And I could not, after about 2 weeks of that, I was just referring them out in my office because I could not, I could not take that level of listings because of the 54, 40 were like listings sold.
Right.
And so it was like, I did not have the bandwidth or the time all by myself to do that. So I had to hire a showing assistant. And then my my managing broker was like, you're terrible at paperwork. I'm like, I still am, 15,
I'm that
13
guy.
years later. Yeah. Like they don't even let me near it right now. And yeah, I don't like to admit that, but he's like, Jason, you got to get some help. Can I recommend someone to you? So I got a per file transaction coordinator that first year who came on full time. And, that was the progression was as a byproduct of the volume. It wasn't because I wanted more money. It wasn't because I wanted egotistical things in life. It was just, I was losing transactions because I didn't have someone to handle the transaction. So it was kind of forced on me.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had to have someone that's strong, right,
Yeah.
to do the
Yes.
things. And you coach thousands of agents.
Yes.
So you tell you have to follow your lead, right? Leadership by example.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
So
It was a byproduct. It was a necessity.
okay.
And then you start, putting your numbers down and you just start and then it starts to turn into something like, how can I impact lives with the business I'm generating? And so it wasn't an egotistical thing for me. It was like a life impact kind of thing for other people. Yeah.
That's great. So let's flip around and talk about agents that I mentioned. You coach thousands of agents. So let's talk about brand new agents real quick.
Yeah.
For me, coming to Montana, it's been 20 years now. All right, I've been here, and I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I did know that I had to make some money, or the house that I just purchased and my wife and I just brought here, we're going to be going down fast. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was trying to build relationships as much as I can. I had a goal of saying when I did my business plan, marketing plan, and budget, I was my first goal was to be a household name. That was it.
Yeah.
And from there, it just went on. And I can tell that story all day, but let's talk about the brand new agent and what they need to do. I'm hearing a lot of great things from you already. And one of the biggest things I know is about consistency. I mean, I understand part making those phone calls. Yes, consistency, being where you have to be at. I mean, what is it? What's that turning point for a brand new agent when you can see them be successful?
Yeah. It's kind of different. I guess like, backing up a little bit, I wish I have a list. I have like this great PDF, and the reason why I have to have a PDF is I can't remember all the points on it. But it says things I wish I knew my first year in real estate. Right? It's really cool, and I just kind of like it was a brain dump. But for a brand new agent, I think we have to kind of back up and ask them like, what was your intention or what was your purpose of getting into real estate the first time, and then also what were you told? What was your ideal?
Okay.
What I mean by ideal is what was the picture that you painted about what this would be?
Mm.
And then is that delusion or is it reality? Right. And I think so many times it's either comes down to just splits or it comes down to like money, but they don't understand that everything can be tracked. Everything is a metric, right? So I think number one, for a brand new agent, what you should do is consider this a business and not some ancillary side income
Right.
endeavor, like, oh well, my husband or wife or partner is got a full-time job, so I just need an extra 20 grand this year and this and that and the other thing. Like, how many times have we heard that,
Yeah.
Damien? Right? Like,
Right. Oh my gosh.
if I had a dollar, right? So I think like just treating it as a business. And so with a business, there has to be some kind of plan or direction or metric again that's going to track. So really setting up like I need to make, so for me, everything comes down to one simple thing. How much do I need to net bring home? I don't care about units. I don't care about volume. I don't care about, let's backtrack it from how much do I need to take home this year in the next 12 months for it. I don't care if you start in August. I started in August. So I do everything August to August. Some ways I still do that. It drives my partner crazy. That's just my life cycle, right? So I said, so we have to know how much, and then we have to figure out, here's what nobody ever tells the brand new agent. They never tell them this. And I kind of want to, this gets me more than anything else. When like everyone's like, oh, it's 20% or 30% of the 10% of no fee brokerage or whatever else. What they got to do, and I think nobody would get in real estate, like, what is the client acquisition cost? Like after the splits and after this or that, hey, what are they providing for the split? What kind of mentorship? What kind of training are you going to get, right? Is it just a desk or is it just, oh, we teach you how to do a buy sell? Like a monkey can do a buy sell even though I still can't. But I mean, it's, because it was always listings, but like once you learn the paperwork, like there's your desk, give me $500 for the desk and you know how to do paperwork and then off you go. And it's like, so like coming up with that number, finding out what the actual true cost to enter a market where there's 1,000 agents, what does it cost you to acquire a client? What tech do you have to pay for? What they don't realize, oh, I got a website. They're like, well, how does one person get into that website?
Right.
How much does that all cost? And then when you get busy, how much does the admin cost? And then how much is all the assigns and the cards and this and that? All they ever talk about is split. They don't talk about all that other stuff. Because if a recruiter said, okay, it's 20% or 10%, and then after that, they're like, but it's like 15 grand more a month than that in order to be relevant in today's market when these people have been here for 20 or 30 years. Yeah. Why can't they say that? Right. And I wish they really would, but they don't know what they don't know at the time, and they quickly find out. And that's why we have the attrition in this industry that we have, is because of, someone wasn't honest with them or really told them, or maybe they don't know, but I think they know. It's expensive.
It is. So I do some agent attraction, right? I love my company. Yeah. And I think I would probably say 40% of the people out of the business. And I'm serious. I mean, they come in, like you said, they're like, well, I want to do this. I'm like, Okay, so let's do the math. All right. This
Yeah.
company is giving you a 90-10 split. You take
Yeah.
90. Let's break that down. And they forget about taxes.
Hmm.
They forget about all these extra things that they have to spend. I said, well, that 90% now is 40%.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. I looked at I don't know how it is in Missoula area there, but I looked at our MLS the other day, and that's another thing. A reason I brought this up was because there's about 1,300 agents in the Billings MLS right now. Out of
Yeah.
the 1,300 agents, there are only 700 that actually sold one deal up. And then
Yep.
out of that 700, there was 500 that only sold 1 to 3 deals. All
Yeah.
right. So we're talking about that 20/80 rule, right? And so getting into real estate, you think you're just gonna go ahead and sign the piece of paper and get your brokerage and da 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 da. You got it. Ta-da!
Yeah.
That's not the case. There is a
No.
lot of steps and things to do. And like you mentioned, if you don't have the right training, the right coach, the right broker there for you, you're gonna be stuck.
Well,
Right?
you really are. It's like I think we could all agree that there's, the old school brokerage model is dying on the vine, which is why you see so many mergers,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is why you see all. And we're at depending on when this airs, like I right now have an independent, and of course, we've discussed our future in the industry together, which is
Yeah.
great, and which I'm grateful for. But it's just one of those things where it's like I think because it's not considered a business, they don't ask these other questions. And it's such a low barrier of entry to get into real estate. And they see these people that have been doing it forever and wildly successful, but they forget the first 10 or 15 years of that person's career. Those days where I was like, when I started in real estate, I had 2,500 bucks. My coach was 1,000. My software was 1,000. I had to tell my landlord I'll wash her dishes and mow her lawn to pay for it. I had 2 kids, soon to have one eye. So it was just one of those things where it was like,
Gosh.
it's one of those, it was like, yeah, my back was up against the wall. But what's so odd to me is how people, like in a sales business,
Okay.
even for a brand new person getting into sales, how they think that you do not have to speak to people in order to transact. It's just wild to me that they think like magically the phone is going to start ringing, like just out of the blue, just because, wow, they made a nice card or did a social media
Yeah.
post, which is a spoke in the wheel, but it's not the wheel. And so, yeah, I just think that, and I like when you said that people are you talk people out of it. You're just being
I'm
honest,
just
which is
being,
good for
yeah,
you.
it's true. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's say, I would say, I mean, what do you think? Maybe you should probably have three to $5,000 to start the business because you're
Yeah.
talking about marketing, you're
Yeah.
talking about your signs, talking about I mean, after that, I mean, once you get going, get the first deal,
Yep.
gravy, gone. But
Yep.
what happens now? We're going to pivot here a little bit.
Yep.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about experienced agents, right? So there's experienced agents that have this cycle.
Mhm.
It's a cycle. It's up and it's
Yeah.
down. We're in the winter months right now. I thrive in the winter months. I don't know what other agents are doing.
Me
I,
too.
I thrive in the winter months. By March, I have a number of closings. I'm ready to go. But there
Yeah.
are agents out there that have, I don't know if they're not budgeting right or whatever the case may be. They come to me and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, well, what did you do to get to where you were before? And
Mhm.
they're talking to me. And I'm realizing they're not consistent. I talked about it before. They're not making it. I still make my phone calls.
Yeah.
As long as that, and it's about relationships.
Yeah.
So, what would you say, Mr. Baker,
Yeah.
about those agents that are, you know, who knows what's going to happen next year, right? 2008, who knows? And that was 2008. What's good? We don't know. I lost and I broke my global map here a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen, but to thrive, what do you think an agent with experience to
Mhm.
get through the next couple of years?
Yeah, it's a really good question and it's super important. So, a couple of things that we have to, this is a mindset game more than it is anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a skill game and it's a mindset game. So, for an experienced agent, I think you have to start to tell yourself that the market does not control you. You control the market. What I mean by that is this: Montana is not seasonal. Now, your old broker who, has
Yeah.
been reincarnated 700 times and still has a high school picture on their business card, like they're telling you that they're sorry, I had to throw that
I
in.
love it. You're right.
Telling
Making
you,
sure you're
man,
comfortable.
I mean, come on, we got AI now. Even I
Yeah.
can look good looking, with AI, right? But the fact of the matter is that maybe that'd be, we'd have to call Elon, but
Right.
he could do it. But it's one of those things where the market doesn't control you unless you let it, but it tells you, it dictates to you so strongly how many people you have to talk to hit your goal.
Right.
It choreographs it for you if you're listening to it. So further, I think like I interview in my role now probably 3 to 5 agents a week in our recruitment process. It's I do a lot of free trainings. We have a lot of people call, whether they're in my state or not, or even considering leaving their brokerage. I come
Right.
from contribution. I
Love
every day I send out scripts and calls and business plans and things that just give, because I don't believe in like a pie mentality where, oh, if I give this, I lose that. No, you give, give. Eventually you get.
it.
Quite
Absolutely.
frankly, it just feels better than being, an isolationist. So I tell those agents, Sphere over the next 3 to 5 years will transact less and less.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sphere will, in 99% of the agents I interview on a daily basis, only work with the people that they know.
Right.
Now, that is the bread and butter of your business and always will be the relationships you talk about. But the fact is, when I moved here and into Missoula, this market from where I was, Bozeman, I only knew 17 people I could write on my Sphere list.
Okay.
Now I have well over 1,000. We've closed 1,500 transactions. So it's like I have 24,000 active people in our database and 40,000 overall paid internet leads and otherwise inside of there. But I only had 17 when I started. So if I wasn't calling FSBOs, wasn't calling expired, wasn't just listed, just sold, offering market reports, wasn't calling all around everywhere, talking to 30, 40, sometimes 50, or my greatest 105 people in one day.
Wow.
And I would do that every 2 weeks, one day, just to make it like 30 be easy. I wouldn't have a large sphere. And so I think for an experienced agent, you have to get over the one-sided, you're putting all your eggs in the one sphere basket, and because of motivation and rates and declining values in many cases in the state, I think that your sphere is going to transact less and less, and I think you have to widen either geographically or just your mind to talk to some other types of people, perhaps expired, canceled, FSBOs. I love to say that, but it's just one of those things. Let's talk to more kinds of people to build our database larger. So because they all hit on different cycles. Maybe a sphere does every 5 to 10 years, they do a move or something like that. Well, these expireds just raised their hand. They were just on the market. FSBOs are currently on the market. Calling around our neighborhood is the most least prospected to person, so you're not going to be competing with as many people.
Right.
Open houses are fantastic. I mean,
I
like,
love open houses. I don't know about anybody else.
and I know, I mean, like it's like, if it's in Timbuktu, maybe, but man,
Yeah.
if you're in town and you call around before, you advertise like the best cookies or maybe cotton candy, there's so many ways to do like
Right.
better open houses. For
When
me,
you,
it'd be pizza or ice cream would get me there, even though I haven't had them since February. But like you have to really dig into the sphere, but you also have to widen your horizons there as far as who you're talking
love
to.
it. So I don't, but do you niche? I mean, do you tell people niche?
Yeah,
Um, is that a thing? Is this still a thing to niche? Well, Montana, I mean, yeah, we got ranching, we got,
yeah,
for me, I spread the love. I've sold a $14 million property. I've sold a $13,000
yeah.
mobile, and I kicked myself in the head. The other agent kicked myself. I was a Century 21. I was like, I'm only going to work with people that homes are at that time, the average price was 167,000, right? I
Right.
thought I'm going to only work with people with $150,000. They looked at me. I looked at him and he's like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then from there it clicked. I was like, "Why? My pool is just really lessening." The person that I actually sold a $13,000 true story mobile had a
Mhm.
friend, and I gave him the best. I treated that person with a white glove,
Yes.
and they guess I sold a $400,000 property because he worked for somebody, right?
Yep.
So that's why I don't niche. I mean, do you?
No. I do not niche. So here, my niche is this. Let's talk to more people if we don't have the pending count that we want. So my
Yeah.
niche is always more talks.
Yeah.
That's my niche. And so here's the thing: when you treat someone like you just did with a 13,000 home, they know a lot of people. So
That's right.
your client sphere, if you do this right and provide enough value, now create a massive sphere for
Love
you.
it.
So if they know 200 people and you treated when someone came onto my team for the sole reason their wife said, you know what I like about Jason? I know a friend that he helped, and it was a $50,000 single wide trailer in a rented lot. And
Yeah.
this guy sells X and X, even though that's how I don't want to be remembered, how many houses I sold, how many
Right.
lives affected. I don't care about that as much. But it's just like, I'm like, if you treat someone with respect, someday they're going to buy a 300 from a 75. Someday they're going to buy a 600 after the 300. And then you've got all of these people's sphere now in your sphere.
Love it.
So maybe I got 1,000 people in my actual sphere with their phone number and emails. Multiply that times 100. Really, that's your sphere
Yeah.
because
Love it.
they all know someone. So
Relationships.
no limits, no minimum standards. Just be a good human for everybody.
There.
What happens?
That's right there. I love that. We're not done yet, but if we could end on that one, that would have been,
Yeah.
that was perfect. Just be a good human being.
Be a
Help
good dude or
someone.
do that. I mean, come
Right.
on. I mean, like, it's like, we got to stop being like, when people look at realtors like, oh, we control the market and the prices and this and that. We get like, next to attorneys and car salesmen, right? Like, oh, I get the, dude, here's the thing. I've met more cool people in my career that I
Yeah.
just love.
Yeah.
Like, how would I have ever met this many great people? I love people, I'm a hermit,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
love,
No.
you
Yeah.
know, love it.
I love it because people think I'm very extroverted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an introvert. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Dude.
done. So all
Yeah.
right, let's pivot here again. What is your rise, right? Right?
Yeah. So, yeah, we're
Yep.
Rise Real Estate.
And
And
so
I thought, yeah.
I've seen you with place. How does that
Yeah.
look?
So embarrassing story. So this is just like a
That's okay.
tell-all, because this is where like authenticity comes in, right?
Okay.
Where you go in your business from like ego to, oh crap. So this is kind of one of those. Okay.
Right.
I've had a million of those.
Love
So,
it.
so here's the thing. So my wife, my wife passed away February 8th of 2025. So thank you. Without my wife, I could have never done any of this stuff. Okay.
Wow.
She was a 50-50 owner in everything we ever did, in the voice of reason, because this guy does not have one. Okay. And I don't know how I'm still alive almost a year later, right? Like, I ever killed my kids. Hasn't killed them.
God bless you, man.
But she was the greatest. I love you, Sarah. But one thing, so we were struggling in Montana with the amount of business that we were doing, finding that leverage, finding sticky people that were like really bought in on the mission, and
Okay.
having never done it before, and working with brokerages that really didn't want me to have more than one or two people besides myself. Because if it's a cap model and I hit my cap in 30 days, for 11 more months, they have to handle my paperwork to the tune of 100 units. And they all say, yeah, they all love to, give you the sweet talk. And then when you start causing them a little bit of gripe because you do an amount of transactions nobody ever seen before,
Right.
compared to some of the people I coach with, they do more a month than I do in a year. I'll just put that out there. So good for them. And I love it. And I'm inspired by those people.
Right.
But really, I started with place because I had blown up. And this is the vulnerable part, and the part
Okay.
I'm not proud of, but you have to go through it.
Let's go.
I blew up and was not positively affecting the life. I was failing my teams. I had 5. I went from 0 to 8, 0 to 11, 0 to 0, 0 to 3. I could not crack the code on how to contribute to the lives of my people consistently. One of the biggest things was you'd have 29 different softwares to log into.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So now you're onboarding them, and by the time they learn their logins, they quit because there's like 900 things they got to learn.
Yeah.
None of which we're talking to people yet. We're still
Right.
trying to, reset password. So it was early team leaders having no local mentor, no broker that I worked with or for could show me how to do this because they'd never done it.
Right.
I started to look outside of Montana for role models and mentors.
Okay.
And I ran into a guy who's a good friend of mine, although I annoy him to no end with my chatter and questions, even though he answers me.
All right.
Ben Kinney, I love you, man, if you ever see this, but I started to go because I was with Keller at the time. I started to go to a lot of his seminars that he had over in his home state of Washington, Bellingham,
Okay.
and various hotels. And he had one called Win, Make, Give, and then Success Through Others. And I was always just, I was going from egotistical real estate agent that thought he was great because he closed so many transactions to how do I impact lives? And I
Yeah.
started watching this guy, Ben, on YouTube because I'm constantly seeking how to learn.
He's
And I
incredible.
started, dude, I mean, this guy, I mean, where he came from and where he is now, and also how humble he is, um, that is what that was more attractive to me. And also his recruiting style was just come spend time with me and let's get to know each other.
Yeah, there you go.
It was not, hey, if I could give you 90% and you're at 70 now. It was never about numbers.
Yeah.
It was always just about who are you and how can I help you? I look back at that, and although I never said that's how you should do it, really it's just contribute, contribute, and you'll find your people.
There you
And
go. Love that.
listen to this story. So I went over and talked to Ben. I said, Ben, I'm having these issues. He's like, yes, I've seen your financials. No, there was no line because here's the thing: you got people on stage talking about how great they are, and then they never show the PDF of
Yeah.
their actual profit and loss because there's no profit; it's all loss. But
Yeah.
they're
They're
braggadocious.
talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, right? So it's like be real. If you're doing terrible that year, share with people because other people are too. That's attractive. Truth is attractive. So he said, "Come on over to Bellingham. Let's see if I can just at least set you straight so you can, impact more lives." And so I went over there and I got there. He's like, "Are you here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, let me pick you up." So he comes over to the hotel. He picks me up in this big lifted Ford truck. You'd think he's going to be driving around in like some fancy Porsche or something. It's just a total redneck truck, which I like. He's like, "I got to go pick up a brand new rifle." And I'm like, "This is the first time we're hanging out. We're going to pick up a rifle." I'm like, "I like him even better." When I was done with that, he said, "Want to go to a movie?" And I go, "A movie?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go pick my dad up. We're just going to go to a movie." And we went to the movie, and it was just like the most gory, crazy, like shoot 'em up movie. I don't remember the name of it. And we were just looking at each other in the movie, and he's like, "This is probably not a good first impression." But I'm like, "Dude, it's a real manly day. It's all about guns." And I got to meet his dad, and I got to learn more about where he came from, and it was just relational. I'll never forget that. Most people would have like taken me out to a 5-star restaurant,
Yeah.
or like taking me to a nightclub and just done all that stuff.
Right.
No, he's like, "Dude, let's go to a movie.
Mr. Down to Earth.
Let's go to a movie."
Yeah.
And so anyway, so he's like, "Look, so I signed with him, and the next day I got fired from Keller Williams.
Oh.
Okay, because I'd blown up my team again. Right. Okay. So he goes, "Look, if you'll take a risk on me, I'll take a risk on you. If we're going to partner, we're going to partner." And we partnered. My wife Sarah looked at me like I had 12 heads. She goes, "How in the world are we going to split profits with somebody and do more?" She was the voice of reason.
Yeah, of course.
How could partnership be more profitable? Ben goes, "I'm not going to sell you on numbers or a pitch. It's not just me either. It's this whole organization of great leaders that I have. There was 33 teams at the time when I signed. As a 34th team now. There's close to 500. So I was in the OG group." And he said, if you look at this, and I'm not being insulting, you made $811,000 in gross commission income, and you only brought home 180. What is your actual split? He goes, "There's not another person in the world that would talk to you about take home.
Right.
You have to understand the true cost of doing the business." He goes, "Can I show you a better way?" And I'm like, "Man, if you showed me any way, it would be a better way."
Right. Preach. Let's go. Let's hear it.
So that's the because everybody wants to talk about how, roses, right? And
Right.
Lamborghinis and shit stuff. Sorry. And so it's just, I love Jesus, but I cuss a lot. So
Yeah, that's all right.
one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've kept it to like a half a swear so far. So anyways, which is a miracle, believe me. But it's one of those things where, in what he did now here's the thing. I got fired from Keller Williams. I had to go get a new independent brokerage that week. Luckily,
Wow.
1 out of 4 times a year. It was just that happened to be that week. I had to go to Great Falls, got my supervising broker designation and course, took my test, passed. I had to come up with a name in a week and change all the logos and everything, which his marketing team did for me in a week and a half. We got it done, and I was the Jason Baker team. powered by the Ben Kinney team. Think about a weird name. And
Whoa.
the reason why people don't join teams is they don't want it to be the Jason Baker team. They
Right,
don't
right,
want
right.
it to be the Ben Kinney team. They want it to just be their persona. So that was hard for me, I'll admit. So because it was like two teams, two names of two different people, and like how weird is that? And
Right.
then I'm Eyes Realty. So okay, so fast forward. Immediately, he showed me how to provide value to people in their life just through osmosis and being near him and go being around him.
Got it.
The question I asked was, how many teams of the 33 that you currently have you lost? He said, we haven't had one. Do you know that out of like 500 teams, I think there's only been about that many that have ever left. And it's not because they didn't see value. It's because they wouldn't do anything he said and they were losing him
Right.
massive amounts of money.
Yeah.
There's no attrition. So something was happening that was right and working for these things. Immediately, even on a 50-50 split, I tripled my income the following 12 months.
Oh,
Nobody can ever tell me that partnership doesn't work if the partnership is valuable enough. A year after, we started with Place. Ben Kinney joined with Chris Suarez, the two top teams at Keller Williams at the time.
know those names, yeah.
I was just fired from Keller Williams, and all the training documents still said Keller Williams. Let me tell you. So until for the first year, right? So it was like video Keller Williams. I'm like again, like that red logo, drive me crazy. I have nightmares. But anyways, but the fact of the matter is, sorry, I get Ben in trouble. But the fact that was their fault. They got rid of me. But the fact. It's like Damon's like, I gotta hit pause here. So anyway,
Hey, this is raw. All right.
Dude, I got no filter. So because there's just no BS. Ben taught me that. So he showed me how to look at a P&L every month. He showed me how to onboard agents. He showed me how to get them going. He showed me what to look for, even though I wasn't perfect at it right away.
Right.
He just started to teach me about people rather than about numbers. and that's the greatest thing. So Place came, of course, Ben owns Brivity. He's the founder of Brivity. Chris is an incredible human that brought his own incredible staff into this thing. Their number one goal at Place was to remove 80% of the things from the top 1% of team leaders so that they could remove 80% of the things for their agents so that they could be belly to belly with agents in good humans that want to build a big life. And the agents could be in front of buyers and sellers rather than doing all the stuff that I was screwing around, going from 811 to 180. Right. So they removed all of my costs, all of my things, because the beautiful thing about Place is they own every single technology that they deploy to their teams and their agents. They own all of it. And so these things I would be paying $30,000-$40,000 a month and was.
Right.
They own, and we now get as part of that partnership.
So everything's packaged into one.
And so the agents log into one thing every day.
Okay.
It's all linear. Their call lists, their FSBOs, their expireds, their just listed, just solds, their internet leads. It's all there. Push a button, goes to a mortgage company. Push a button, goes to a title company. Push a button, goes to an insurance company. Push a button, get a home warranty. Push a button, they own all of these companies. Yeah. And they're constantly, so the whole purpose is that the client because right now, right, you go to a mortgage company, they sell the loan to someone, that the servicer starts advertising real estate agents and refinance and mortgages outside of the original mortgager and outside of the original real estate agent. They're trying to interrupt the life cycle of your client. Place said, we own it all. We'll never, ever sell the information. Your face as the real estate agent will forevermore be on every branding piece that we ever send them. And everything is inside our ecosystem where we keep them all here.
Wow.
To protect the agent. So our average agents will close if they follow the system, and not all of them will. Like, you've read the book, Let Them, and you've read the book, some will, some won't, so what, right? Place is the Ferrari. You got to get in and turn the freaking key. It cannot gather dust in the park. Like, you're not just going to make money because you have a Place logo.
Right.
But man, I mean, you can do that. And
wow.
So it took us from, 80 transactions after I blew my team up. This year we'll do 160 units, which is our best year ever. And a market where we're down 30%. So we beat market we're up 22% this year. So we beat market by 52%.
That's incredible.
And it's just one of those things where we provide so much to the agent, and all we focus on is take home and the amount of closings, and that's what we
So it
counsel.
sounds like they just do all the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on,
Buddy,
yeah,
I went from a
that's it.
95 hour work week, Damien, down to 40.
God, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I need to start looking at like,
And 3x, and 3x the income. Again, that doesn't matter. We have
right.
so many first year agents closing 15 to 25 transactions year one,
No way.
taking home 100 to $150,000 net. Their gross is their net there, and not having to worry about figuring out this software, figuring out that software, nothing in 2 trainings a day. It's crazy. And same like obviously your company is an
Right.
incredible training company.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I think there's like 80 hours of free training
Like,
per
right.
week. So I
And how
mean,
many agents go to 8 minutes of it? That's the
right.
thing we got
Yeah.
to get them to do, right?
Ah,
So when my wife
it's
died,
so hard.
Damien, when my wife died, just to tell you what kind of company they are, and this is getting really raw, and maybe more than people want to know, but this is, and I'll try to hold it together.
Okay.
But when she died on February 8th in our arms, okay, um, the first call I made was to Ben, and he said, I'm sending everyone. And he sent a team of my friends because we were the OG people.
Right.
Uh, they came and they did the whole celebration of life, paid for the whole celebration of life.
Wow.
I would be on the end of the exit. And here's another vulnerable thing. Places Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield for its agents, and life insurance. If not for that place life insurance, I've always had Christian healthcare ministry, but they won't pay for a lot of the cancer stuff. Okay. My wife had about $200,000 in medicine per month oral that she had to take. There were 6 or 7 pills. I think it was 3,000 a pill or something crazy like
Wow.
that. So we have assets, but I would have sold everything to save my wife's life. And we sent her everywhere, all across the world. And she went to Germany and Mexico and all sorts of different places in the United States. No stone unturned, no peptide not taken, no Fenben, no Menben, no ivermectin,
Right.
no nothing she didn't try, and it just got her. If I didn't have that healthcare, I would literally be living at the Poverello Center. No offense to the people that live there in Missoula. Right now, I'd be at the end of the exit. I'd have sold everything. It would have cost me every bit of net worth to save her, and I would have done it. But
Yeah.
because I had that, I had it. A week after she died, I didn't know Sarah had got life insurance there because she handled all the bills. Now I got like 20
Right.
checkbooks.
Right.
I'll see what's happening. It's terrible.
Right.
So, anyways, but she got that. They worked it out, and within 2 weeks, with nothing, there was $100,000 just sitting there, just the life insurance that which helped pay for a lot of the other expenses that we still
Mhm.
owe. But the big thing was it was the people that came alongside of us, both in our local realtor community, but those place people came. We get stock, very similar to your company. We get revenue share, very similar to your company that you work with, though it's not a brokerage place. It's
Right.
just a
Right.
that we use. Yeah. And place can be in any brokerage anywhere in the country. It's brokerage agnostic, if you will. It can bolt into any brokerage, but it has to be the top 1% of teams.
Right.
So they saved my life and my heart and for my kids.
Wow.
And one thing they did that I didn't know until after, my wife was trying to get her stock over into my name, which they don't allow in the corporate bylaws there.
Mm.
Ben and Suzanne, the stock people said, and this is just way more than people need to know, but you can cut this out.
Yeah.
They told me, they said Sarah was trying, since she must have known she was going to go, because in November, even though I didn't know she was doing this, she was trying to get the stock just into my name. And they called me and said, well, we can't have her stock because it just goes back into the kitty because it's just the way the bylaws are. Well, I got a call in March and they said, Ben and Chris flew to meet with Goldman Sachs, who's an investor in place, and I guess changed around some bylaws.
Wow.
And they just called me and said that it was hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Um,
And
wow.
man, dude, I lost it. I nearly crashed on the side of the road because it's not the money for me.
Yeah.
It's unbeknownst to me with no, like, I didn't know it was happening. So it's authentic when you don't.
Yeah.
They went and they gave that to me, which, when they go public in a year and a half, will, add millions of dollars on top of our net worth,
Right.
which again, I don't care about that. I just care about impact, but it's that they would do that when they could have kept it.
That's
And
amazing.
they did that with no one knowing.
Right.
Those are the people,
That's family.
that
That is family.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
there. They were all there. 20
uh,
some people were just there at the Sarah's thing and came, and they came over to my house after, and they cooked us a bunch of steaks and just hung out with me and my kids, until, the next day. And I just couldn't have been more grateful for that. But anyway, enough of this sad
no,
crap.
Jason, thanks for sharing.
Uh,
I'm looking at myself. I got goosebumps right now.
oh,
Thank you so much for sharing that.
the goodness of them.
Yeah,
And it's just, they don't just talk about it. They just live it.
right.
And it's just that's humbling. But anyways,
Yeah.
let's talk about helping real
Yes.
estate agents. Oh my God,
This
why did I
really
go
fun. I
there?
remember what, so just for everybody to know, when
Ah,
I was talking to Jason maybe an hour or two ago, I had this big script of words that I wanted, and I was like, Jason, let's just be real here. Right? We're just gonna talk like we're having coffee, and that's what
yeah,
happened. And
yeah,
great things come out of like stories. I mean, I love this. So thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing
yeah,
that. People that are going to be watching this, they're going to see it, and it's going to change some lives. And
yeah.
that's what I was hoping that we would do today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, Gosh, I got so much more. All right. So, all right, let's wrap this up, shall we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll keep
So,
going. I mean, yeah, I'm 50, so eventually I have to go to the bathroom. But I'm so far. I'm
yeah,
so
no, we're good. So, February 19th to the 21st, and this started
yes.
about five years ago myself. I was a state broker for EXP Realty in 2016, and I resigned 2023. And prior, a couple of years before that, I started what's called a Montana Real Estate Summit. All right. It's for all brokerages, right? And it's just for us to get together, network, learn, and understand what's going on. It was locally, then we started getting people from around the state. And then we started to get people nationally to come in, which is amazing. And when we decided to do it this year, we're like, let's get some strong individuals going here. I mean, we can really turn this up and make it. So we got some great people coming into that nationally and statewide. And Jason, you are one of those people we are really excited to have. So our oh gosh, I have to look now. I'm okay. I'm embarrassing myself. So hold on a second. If you go
Good.
to
I'm
Montana Real
glad you
Estate,
are. I'm glad you are now, Damien, because I sure just was. But that's
so
okay.
we every year we have an acronym. All right. So this time, if you go to Montana Real Estate Summit.com, Montana Real Estate Summit.com, you'll see the website. And this time it's Unite. And I believe, if I remember correctly, you're Inspire. You've already inspired me, my friend.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
talk. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
don't know
talk to
what you're
you.
going to talk about, but I'm
Yeah,
really excited to hear you. Thank you very much.
yeah.
So, I guess I'll leave off by asking you, what are you hoping to leave agents with when you speak February 19th to the 21st at Fairmont?
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to be talking about three major topics there. I'm going to be talking about my addictions when I was young
Mm,
and how I overcame them. I'm going to be talking about more about my injury and mindset and how to get over that. And then, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about ways to get over massive trauma in life, such as loss of a loved one. We're going to talk. We're going to talk and leave with people how no matter what is going on in your life, it's going to be okay if you just keep going. And
yeah,
that I don't like. We can talk business, but
yeah,
people right now are having a hard time, especially in the real estate industry. And we're gonna talk about every way to just get through anything and just how to build a life that when you're where Sarah was on
yeah.
February 8th, you look back and you go like, man, I did a damn good job. And so we're gonna help people figure that out.
Ugh. All right, we're gonna end here, man. Because my wife's right out there, and I'm gonna tell her what we talked about. And you are an incredible human being. So once again, thank you again. I keep using the word vulnerable, being so vulnerable. Thanks for sharing. Learned so much here. And if anybody ever wanted to get a hold of you and your team, let's give you some props here. What would someone have to do?
I would just love to talk to him on the phone. And so
All right.
just get to know him.
Your name's out there too. Your phone number's out there. All right.
It is.
So you're easy to find, Jason Baker. All right. Jason Baker team is jasonbakerteam.com.
Yep. JasonBakerTeam.com, or my cell phone is 406-552-4443, and that'll come right to me. That's my cell phone.
Okay.
Feel free to call me there, or just on Facebook, Jason Baker Team, and look me up. So I'll be the tall, ugly, gray-headed guy on there. You'll find me.
Good looking gray-headed guy.
Well, I'm down 40 pounds. I mean, I was large and in charge. Yeah, dude, I haven't eaten anything unhealthy since 5 days before my wife died. I said, I can control what goes in here and I can control what goes in there. And I am going to live for my children.
Love it.
No matter what, and set a good example. So
God bless you, Jason, man. That's phenomenal. All right. I'm looking forward to meeting you, man, here in the next couple of months. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Take care, guys. And thank you so much once again, Jason. We'll see you soon and have a blessed day.